Well, if you got a dollar, well, just lousy down. You know that I got rhythm that could suit your budget fine.
I added to my collection for the first time actually in a while, a collection that kind of sits off to the side. It's in a great little binder, which I will also show. But I came across a listing and, well, just decided I had to have it. So if you're familiar with my channel, it's been probably at least a year. I did a deep dive with Joni from Vintagerous on cigarette cards. And it was a new obsession for me. It was something that she had been collecting and selling for a while. And I started building my own collection. What I found is a lot of the cigarette cards that I was interested in were the ones that were about decorative arts. So this is a collection of cigarette cards from a company that I personally am not familiar with because, you know, Tobacciana is not exactly my forte, but it is a British company, DeReszke. May have to figure out how to pronounce that. The Aristocrat of Cigarettes. Millhoff and Company Limited, London, England. And you can see, and this is pretty common for cigarette cards, they will say how many are in the series. And so the idea behind these, you can kind of tell by their size, they are relatively small. They're typically, this is pretty typical of size, but they would have been slipped into the packets of cigarettes. And in some cases, they were started when the packets were soft-sided, where they just had the cellophane wrapper. This actually gave it a little bit of rigidity. And the idea behind it was you would get your pack of cigarettes, just like, you know, baseball trading cards and all of those. You would get one card in the set of cigarettes. So you got number 10, well, then you needed to get the rest. So it says right on here, a series of 54, so you could keep buying cigarettes until you completed the whole set. Now, a lot of the cards were, I hate to say this, because I don't really like when you get into this, but tended to be more of female interest. So the decorative arts, there were some on fashion. There were definitely some for men as well, military. I mean, I personally like porcelain, so I really don't want to get into whether it's a feminine or masculine thing. But the idea was, in some cases, the women were the ones buying the cigarettes for their husbands, so they were keeping these cards for themselves. But whatever the reason, this is a decent, you know, pretty large size set, 54. In some cases, they would do a set maybe of 25 to 30, and then the next year they would do another set, so you would have different series. This one is just one series. Unfortunately, I don't have all of them. So this is, you know, one of the cases of building a collection, even on the internet. Yeah, there were a couple that had the entire collection available, but this was inexpensive, so I picked it up, and now I have a reason to be on the lookout for, I think it's like 6 or 7 that I'm missing from the series to try and finish it up. But what I like about these is they're small. I love ephemera, and they get put into a little album, and I will show you that now. So this is the album. Comes in a kind of a cool little slip case, and you slide the album out, open it up, and you have these sleeves that are custom sized specifically to the cigarette card. So again, this is a fairly common size. I've seen some that are a little bit larger. Some of them are T cards, which came out a little bit later. The cigarette cards typically were around World War I and after, definitely before World War II. So you can see, so I've got the Old English pottery and porcelain set. This is from R.J. Lee Chairman cigarettes. So you've got that series. Let's see. So I've got several different series here. So here's like some of the larger one. These are actually cards on how porcelain is manufactured. You can see I kind of have a theme. These were German, if I remember right. Yeah, I think that's German. Mecklenburg. I'm sorry. Yes, these were from a butter company, margarine manufacturer. So they weren't all cigarette cards. So those are a slightly different size. So I only have 3 of this style. You can see they're the same size. They fit into the little packets for the cigarette card. But you can also see, if you look really closely on the edges, you can see these are kind of frayed. These are fabric. So these were cigarette silks. And so the idea was you could sew these together into a handkerchief, or I guess if you were a super smoker, you could sew them into a quilt, but my, you'd have to have a lot of them. I don't come across the silks very often, certainly not in the porcelain. These are the only three I've ever come across, even on the internet. I've come across some of different flags of different nations. Those silks seem to be a little bit more popular, and those are a little bit bigger. But these are the exact same size of the cards. These are also from Chairman's Cigarettes, or L. Lee. So Spode, Darby, and Coalport, and I love the Coalport one. So, you know, something different. I'm always on the lookout for more of those, but they don't seem to be nearly as common. I'm not sure on the story on these, but you can see right on there, these are also cigarette cards. Based on the printing, they seem to be about the same age, but look at how much bigger they are. So here's one of the cards that I had from earlier. You know, they're significantly larger. So I'm not sure if these were sold in, sometimes you could buy loose tobacco, like maybe these were in a different type of packet. But, you know, shows this was the old furniture series. This is one of those that shows it was there were multiple series available. So this was number 2 in the second series. So you could collect all the different series. So oak side table. So these were, again, Will's British, another British company, and, you know, have several available. I just don't know why they're so much larger. But, you know, I think these cards are absolutely beautiful. I picked up this series too because they do have porcelain in them, but they are actually considered a museum series. So, you know, the Elgin marbles are in here, the Portland vase, the British Museum. So it's talking about the museums themselves. Again, it's just a different type of card. Now, what I don't know is these have little holes punched in them, and I'm not sure if these were sold with the holes or if these ended up going to a collector that put them in some kind of a binder. But they all have the holes in them, you can see. So I'm not really sure on those, because I've never really come across them again. But these were Nicholas Sereny, specialists in high-class cigarettes. Again, they are British. So the British ones had some really cool ones. And I'm not sure I've got the entire series, but again, kind of a mix of what was available in the museum series. So thanks to the power of editing, I now have my loose sleeves have been filled. So the new collection that I did of the DeReszke cigarettes are now in their sleeves and in the binder. So added to the collection. So it'll just be put back into the slipcase. You know, it's one of those cases, people want to look at it just sitting on the end table. I flip through it every once in a while because I think they're kind of cool. Again, not a collection I add to all that often, but it's a cool collection. I love the age on them. I love the concept behind them. And just, you know, some of the imagery on them is absolutely beautiful. And, you know, it's all about the research. So you get to learn information about them as well. So that is my collection. Thanks so much for watching this short video. If you happen to come across these little types of cards, now you know what they are. Cigarette cards. They're definitely collectible, definitely available for resale, and or collect them yourself. So thanks for watching the video. Thanks for giving me your time. Thanks for putting your trust in Trusty Huckster. Talk to you again soon. Bye.
Well, show me a sign if you're wishing me to stay. Otherwise, I say goodbye and finish out the day. And that sunrise in the morning and you got nothing to say. Oh, that's when I'll be headed on my way.